Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my commentary number 6. Today I'm going to be doing my class setup video, which I know I've really dropped the ball, guys. It's been a while, been extra busy, life is crazy to say the least. But anyway, I want to jump straight in. I'm going to do 3 classes this time around, and then I'll string out some videos on class setup stuff later, just for when I want to drop another bombshell of TF2 knowledge on y'all. But anyway, let's get in. First class today we're going to do is Scout. And Scout's a great class, especially because of its high damage output. And I feel like that's best characterized by his default primary weapon, the Scattergun. You're getting high damage, you have 6 shots, so, I mean, if you miss a few here and there, you're okay. Also, you can 2-shot a lot of classes if you do enough damage on the shots, so it's really a versatile weapon. As far as other choices go, I'm not a huge fan of some of them. I'm not a huge fan of the fan. My puns, they're great, aren't they? The fan mostly, though, because of the knockback. I know it's great to actually push your enemies back, especially when you have such a low HP and you're really trying to not take damage. But the problem is, though, it sometimes messes up your aim if you're doing that while jumping, and it gets a little bit crazy. Also, 2 shots isn't really a lot. As far as his other primary side grade, the shortstop, it's a little too spammy for me, but you do have a high damage versus time ratio. You can really damage a lot of people if you hold down that trigger and you can get out those 4 shots. So it's a pretty cool weapon, to say the least. As far as his secondaries go, the bonk is what I'm currently using, but I switch this up pretty often, because although bonk is great for getting past sentries and generally distracting enemy teammates, the pistol is, in most cases, going to be your better choice. The pistol allows you to damage people from a distance, so once you're closing in, you can switch over to your scattergun. But pistols, it's generally a great sidearm to have when you're retreating. Also really helpful there. So I would definitely recommend this in most cases. And I'm not a huge fan of the critical, just because although doing mini crits is great, taking mini crits is not so great. So it's risk reward, and in my case, I don't really find the benefit to shine the very many detriments of taking mini crits, especially when you have low HP. And for the melee, I like to stick with the bat, because it's slightly ironic for a person named Fish to kill someone with a bat as opposed to the weapon that is a fish. So that's my choice on that. But if you're not playing against decent soldiers or demo man, go ahead with the candy cane. Or if you're feeling really adventurous, go with the Boston Basher, I suppose. Although I'm not really a big fan of damaging myself unnecessarily. Bleed damage, it can be helpful. And if you pair it with the fan, you can actually use it to quadruple jump, because the damage from bleeding on yourself will actually cause you to be propelled a little bit forward. So that's a nice little trick to know. And the Sandman is nice if you want to stun people. It's a good thing to mess around with, but I wouldn't use it too seriously. So let's just go back, and before we go, let's just look at my glorious hats. I got the vintage whoopee cap with a nice shade of green, as well as the essential accessory. So I'm styling. I'm rocking the green and the red. This looks nice. So when I go out in the streets, I gotta look fly for everybody. That's how I do. Anyway, on to Soldier. Soldier, I use the default. This is one trend you'll notice. I use a lot of default weapons. Mostly because when I played TF2, those were mostly all that we had. So, yeah. So the rocket launcher, yes, rocket launcher, great weapon. The splash damage is great. You can spam around corners. You can hit people directly and get a lot of damage. Generally, I would have to say his best choice. Although, in certain situations, especially when you're learning how to play Soldier, I'd say the black box is actually pretty good, because it teaches you 2 things. One, it teaches you how to conserve your ammo. So you only have 3 shots, so you have to make all of them count. But it also teaches you that although soldier has 200 health, that can go really quickly if you don't watch out for yourself. So I mean, I guess getting the health can become a crutch from the splash damage, but I would say in most cases it's a it's good at times, but I would never really use it consistently. The direct hit is, it's a strange weapon in some way. Um, Although you have to be more precise to use it, you tend to see a lot more soldiers spamming with it, and it generally doesn't work out very well in most cases. The reduced splash damage is actually a big deterrent for this weapon. Um, I mean, you can totally damage people if you get those shots in there, but getting those shots in there consistently tends to be a problem for a lot of people. So I wouldn't really recommend it in most situations. But like most weapons in TF2, fun to mess around with. But if you want to play seriously, I would not say direct hit most of the time, at least. And the rocket jumper is fun for learning rocket jumps and jumping and shotgunning dudes and rocket jumping away to safety. Kind of cool. Shotgun, I have to say, is in most cases going to be your best secondary weapon. But let's give a little bit of time to the others. Shotgun's very very basic, easy to use. But as far as the other ones go, most these aren't actually going to directly damage some other enemy. But the buff banner, that's actually really helpful, I have to say. If you can buff your whole team with buff banner, they can go in and wreak havoc because those mini crits they're doing, that can definitely do some damage. Can't really say that I've used the battalion's backup enough. But against the crit streak, I can see where this would definitely have its benefits. So if you know the other team is rolling crits, and you can time it well, and you know that they're actually going to drop a crit soon, then pull out your battalion's backup, and you can go at them pretty well. But I don't actually see that as often as the buff banner, and I don't see the gunboats a lot either. Um, if you know that you're pretty good with your rockets, and you know that your aim's going to be there, and you know you want to get around places fast and get those height advantages, then I'd say go with the gunboats sometimes. Fun to use because you're taking less damage as you rocket jump. Uh, and for the melee, I'd have to say use the equalizer. I mean, I use it. It's great to run around fast and KO people like it's nobody's business, but I understand that there are a lot of soldiers that they were raised on the shovel and they swear by it, so they use the shovel pretty often. Frying pan is merely cosmetic, so that's your choice. If you like the shovel at least. And the pain train is great if you're actually capping stuff. If you're not, then I would say you're wasting that potential there. And right now I'm using the stainless steel pot, but a few days ago I actually found this nice exquisite rack, which I gotta once again give a little bit of a shout out to my friend Barlam who made this. It's pretty sweet. I do enjoy it, so I'll probably switch this in with my pot occasionally. And Pyro is gonna be the last class we do tonight. So for Pyro, Degreaser versus Flamethrower. That's kind of, I guess, the critical debate because they both have Air Blast, which I would have to say is very versatile. So you can deflect stuff, you can extinguish your teammates, you can just juggle guys around in the air all day. So it's really helpful to have, but it's really more about your playstyle. If you're going to go in there, you're going to do a little bit of damage with your flames and let them do the afterburn. If you're playing in, I guess, more of a reserve fashion, I go with the Degreaser. That's how I generally like to do it. But the extra damage from the flamethrower can be helpful. So that's one advantage. I mean, I think this is really more up to personal preference at a really high level. But I would not really go with a back burner, although it's fun to mess around with. Just giving up air blast is such a big thing that I can't see any real reason to use it. And also I don't really like that the back burner encourages people to run head on, which is kind of strange because it's it's supposed to be the back burner, but the 15 extra percent damage done, it can be helpful at times if people aren't going to be shooting at you and juggling you around as Pyro. But yeah, I'm not a really big fan of it. flare gun versus shotgun. This is a critical debate as well. I like the flare gun just because I think the flare gun's more fun. It's more enjoyable. The kills are more satisfying. The kill icon looks like a tampon, really strange. And yeah, I like the flare gun over the shotgun, but the shotgun's really versatile. So I wouldn't knock it. In most cases, it's going to be a better choice because you don't actually have to predict your aim for the secondary. So it's pretty helpful. Also, if you're fighting other pyros, shotgun's probably the way to go. And as far as melee, pyro has quite a bit of them actually. So homewrecker. If you're going to be fighting against spies and you're going to be helping your engineers, then this can be a viable choice. Otherwise, don't waste the slot. Power Jack, which I'm currently using. I love to get that extra damage and get health back from killing somebody. That's awesome, I have to say. And not having random crits, not a big deal. So, Power Jack all the way for me. Although, I'd have to say the Axe Extinguisher is also a really viable choice, especially when you pair it with the fast weapon switch from the Degreaser. You can, and, drop cats like flies. What can I say? And the back scratcher I haven't played around much with, although I think I'm going to try to. One of my friends actually suggested I do some gameplay with it, and that's going to be on the agenda. And the fire axe, not a huge fan of. Sorry to say. And for the hats, let's see. First, I have the brigade helm, which I painted yellow, so I look like a cool fireman. But I also like to be, dangerous fireman, but business-like pyro. So I have the stockbroker's scarf, which is a tie. But before I go, though, I want to do a few quick shout-outs to a few of my friends in the community. First is going to be Unicorn Fan 91. He does really great TF2 videos. They're like a minute and a half usually. They're all really funny, so check his channel out. Second would be Spadinsky. He does mostly not Call of Duty. He may do some Call of Duty videos, but he does Battlefield and All Points Bulletin. Check out his videos. The other people are not in the TF2 community per se, as far as commentators, but there's only Use Me Blade, who does Call of Duty knifing only videos. He's like a spy, but in Call of Duty form, and it's amazing. The other ones would be Woody's Gamertag. He's like a 37-year-old gamer, but he plays like occasionally some more competitive games, and he also is really like wise in his videos. So I'd say, yeah, check his channel out. He's a great dude. And finally would be Cian Anders. He has like probably one of the biggest viewerships on YouTube, so I don't really know that I need to give him a shout out. He could help me out actually. But yeah, his channel is great. He really loves his subscribers, so I'd say check him out. And finally, I want to give a shout out to my friends in the Wulfpackz. I love you guys, and I will be bringing commentary to you guys soon. I got some stuff already in the making. It's that spy stuff, with the ambassador and the your eternal reward. But I'm gonna make it awesome. So let's just hope that comes out well. And I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.